Hi, I'm Matt from hockeyreviews.ca, and this is, as you can see, the true Catalyst PX3. This is the thigh rise test. So it's not really the review portion. It is specifically testing the thigh rise and putting it up against my puck machine. I've done this test before with a bunch of pads, and I'll link them below in the playlist, or up there too, in the playlist. So watch playlist if you want to see the results of different pads. This is one of the soft pads that we've done this test with, but it's not really that soft. But we'll see how this ends up playing and performing. A few little things about this test and these pads to start with. The shooting on this puck machine is about 65 miles per hour. I've mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. It's not a super accurate machine. It's around 65 miles per hour. It's not the most accurate, like I said. It's hard to get the exact spot for it, like aiming wise, and also it has a range of speed. So you don't really know exactly how hard it is, but that is the goal target for the speed. The other thing I want to talk about is this test puts a lot of wear on a pad and a lot more than you would ever get just normally playing. And obviously if you use these pads for like NHL goalies are going to be facing this wear and stuff like that. But if you're just someone, even like a AAA, junior, whatever, chances are this test is going to be putting a lot more use in the pads than just normal play. It's kind of a rare save selection, and like where pucks get stuck in there and everything, and usually you have sticks there and you're moving. So being static and kind of sitting on synthetic ice and all this makes the pad like go through a lot more than if you were just playing. So just keep that in mind for the end of this video. The other thing, for full disclosure, this pad and this entire set was sent to me by True in order to do a review on and to make content for, and this is one of the pieces for it. So I'll be doing the block of the glove and the full review of the pads itself and performance of the pads. And to be very straightforward of how this happened, I bought this set of pads, which you've seen some footage for already, and you'll see a lot more because I use these pads a lot. These are a PX3, but these are Anton Forsberg Pro Returns I got from Just Hockey. So these are a lot thinner in the thigh rise, as you can see right here, compared to each other. So this is their kind of V1 prototype pad. This was a pad a lot of pros got. It's a lot softer than this pad is, which is the retail one. You can see how it's thicker there. So I had this pad. I reached out to someone at True and said, hey, I just want to see, like, I know this is different than what the retail one is, so could you tell me some of the differences? And this kind of came out of that conversation. So first off, huge thanks True in regards to that. But we are going to put this through its paces and we'll talk about the results after the footage. But before we show all that, if you want to support the channel so I can keep doing more videos like this and making more content, and you're buying hockey equipment, check out the links in the description to Pure Hockey if you're in the US, and Hockey Supremacy if you're in Canada. Clicking those links and making a purchase gives me a kickback to help support channels, making more reviews and doing like actual tests like this. Otherwise, if you want to support the channel, check out Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee. Everything that goes through any of those links always comes back into the channel completely. Help me make more videos and do more content.
Okay. No, the other way a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
So these pads did very, very well in this test and were either the best or really close to being the best compared to any pad I've done before. The best pad might be the mock, and the only reason I say I think the mock might be slightly better in these is I never had any pucks get stuck between the thigh rises in the butterfly, where this one it did have a couple, but this isn't a perfectly scientific test, so it's not exactly perfect, and the angles and everything weren't exactly one-to-one. So the end results on these are very, very impressive. And yes, this is like True's softer pad line, but the pad isn't really that soft. But compared to the mock, it really does feel like it's a lot more like mobile on your leg, and it doesn't feel like it's as like stiff and kind of stuck on your leg, specifically the lower part of the leg too. The thigh rise is very stiff, as you can see in these results, and like you can see the good results of that. But the lower part of the pad, like below the knee, and this doesn't have a big knee break either. You can see that in this video, but it just feels like RVH and stuff like that and moving around. This pad is a lot more reactive to how you move compared to the mock is, so it feels still a lot easier to move in compared to like the stiffer mocks. So with that said, the results on these are very, very impressive, and True did a pretty awesome job for this in terms of stopping pucks for the thigh rise test. So like I mentioned, using this test kind of puts a lot of use on pads, and you can kind of see the damage, just the use really on this one. And you can kind of see how that corner flexes in, and this piece right here, kind of like this little edge corner piece kind of came loose, and you can kind of see it moving like this. So this foam isn't broken. It's softer, that's for sure. And it flexes more than what it did before. But I've played with them afterwards and I've used it, and there is no real issue with it. It's just through use, materials are going to break down a little bit, but I have to call this out. And for comparison to the original one, and you can see how thinner like this one is too, and that doesn't move as much. And this piece right here is attached to that corner piece. So because of all the pucks that were hitting here and jamming in there, kind of this little piece came off, so it kind of moves more freely on the other one. But like I said, I haven't noticed issues using it. I've worn them on ice a bunch of times since then, but I want to call it out because if something like this happens in the test, I want to make it very obvious and be very straightforward with that.
You're watching HockeyReviews.ca.